You are watching Bear Ministries.
I think an epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths. And that it's pretty surprising how little preparedness there is for it. Now, it's tricky because this is a global problem, so how do countries work together? Which countries should put up what resources? Of all the things that are out there, what could cause an excess in a single year of 10 million deaths? Now, clearly a big war could, and a pandemic, natural or created by bioterror.
Bugs, big bombs. Please welcome Mr. Bill Gates.
We also face a new threat that the next epidemic has a good chance of originating on a computer screen of a terrorist intent on using genetic engineering to create a synthetic version of the smallpox virus or a contagious and highly deadly strain of flu.
Bill Gates thinks there's a new flu epidemic lurking just around the corner, and he says we're unprepared for it.
준이야, 왜 그래? 어디 아파?
여기가 아파요.
My Secret Terriers, the Netflix drama predicted the coronavirus outbreak back in 2018.
자세한 건 좀 더 조사를 해봐야겠지만 변종된 코로나 바이러스입니다.
코로나면 혹시 메르스?
메르스, 사스, 감기 모두 동일한 바이러스의 유전 정보를 지닌 패밀리로 보면 돼요. 코로나는 호흡기 질환을 일으키는 대표적인 바이러스.
My Secret Terriers has taken the internet by storm as Netflix subscribers have spotted a key scene in episode 10 which appeared to preempt the ongoing coronavirus
2015년
pandemic.
메르스 사태 때 사망률이 20%가 넘었죠.
근데 20%는 무기로 쓰일 정도.
Now, Netflix is no stranger to bringing series from all corners of the globe to subscribers across the planet. But My Secret Terriers, as the South Korean drama, is currently available for fans to stream in the UK and the USA.
아니지 않나요?
아까도 말했다시피 이건 변종된 바이러스예요. 누군가 인위적으로 사망률을 90%에 육박하도록 올린 것으로 보입니다.
90%요?
While it might not be a household title, the series began trending on social media this week as fans spotted an eerie scene featuring coronavirus.
Sorti en 2018. En 2018, hein. Épisode 10.
My Secret Terriers' synopsis from Netflix reads, a secret agent who detaches himself from the world after a failed operation tries to unravel the mystery behind a neighbor's death. The key scene, which has fans all over the globe talking, comes in the 10th episode of the show's first season. Approximately 53 minutes into the episode, it shows a doctor handling over a file to another character. The doctor tells her, we must do more research, but it looks like a mutant coronavirus. The concerned recipient replies, Corona? Then MERS, SARS, the common flu. They all fall in the same gene family with the same gene information, the doctor says. The coronavirus attacks the respiratory system. During the 2015 MERS epidemic, the mortality rate was over 25%. The agent then asks, but what's not serious enough to be used as a weapon? Am I wrong? The doctor says, like I said, this is a mutant virus. Someone tweaked it to increase the mortality rate to 90%.
Alright, this the video from Instagram that was up, but they've been taking it down. Just a little information for y'all.
Going on. Now that the coronavirus is actually infecting my family by shutting schools down and shutting down schools across the nation, something just since the beginning hasn't seemed right with this coronavirus system. And then I remember my wife telling me there's actually a patent on the coronavirus. And I'm like, that figures because the drug companies, I wouldn't put it past them. But then I looked a little further, and there is a patent on it. It's patent US 200-625-7852, a US patent on the coronavirus. And it was applied for, and it's called severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus. And that was applied for in 2006 by a company called Chiron. And now I'm not into conspiracy stuff, but when it starts affecting my family, I want to know what the hell's going on. And so this company Chiron applied for it and was granted this patent on this virus, which was then bought by GlaxoSmithKline, one of the 10 largest pharmaceutical companies in the world who happens to specialize in vaccines. It usually takes 2 to 2.5 years to get approved because they have to do safety testing and stuff like that. So now I'm looking into maybe there's a coronavirus vaccine.
Why don't you describe for me, as vividly as you can, what it is you're worried about, what it is that the nightmare scenario looks like?
Fortunately, there's very few things, and most of them are very low probability. Some big volcanic explosion, gigantic earthquake, asteroid. But at least in the nuclear case, you've got to say we take it quite seriously. We budget a lot of money, have a lot of people who think about nuclear deterrence, and I'm very glad that work's being done, and I rate the chance of a nuclear war in my lifetime as being fairly low. I rate the chance of a widespread epidemic far worse than Ebola in my lifetime is well over 50%. We need to meet a new constraint, and that constraint has to do with CO2. CO2 is warming the planet, and the equation on CO2 is actually a very straightforward one. We put out a lot of carbon dioxide every year, over 26 billion tons. For each American, it's about 20 tons. For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet. And somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to zero. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to zero. This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero, and that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is donating up to $100 million toward coronavirus relief efforts. The organization said in a press release Wednesday the funds will be used to help strengthen detection, isolation, and treatment efforts, protect at-risk populations, and develop vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics. It said it will immediately direct up to $20 million to organizations like the WHO, the CDC, and public health authorities in China to help strengthen their virus detection capabilities, as well as their efforts to curb the disease spread. It will provide as much as $20 million more to help public health authorities in Africa and Southeast Asia to build up their disease relief efforts. It said these regions tend to get hit the hardest by epidemics, since many people there live in extreme poverty and have limited access to quality primary health care. It also pledged up to $60 million toward research, development, and testing of coronavirus vaccines and treatments. It will divide that money among various research labs across the world to help them develop remedies that are safe, effective, and made widely available. The WHO said Thursday there are now more than 28,000 confirmed coronavirus cases in China, and that more than 500 people in the country have died from the virus so far.
This paper predicted the coronavirus outbreak in China 1 year before it happened. It was published in March 2019, and it had this statement. It is generally believed that bad-born coronavirus will re-emerge to cause the next disease outbreak. In this regard, China is a likely hotspot. The challenge is to predict when and where, so that we can try our best to prevent such outbreaks. So, if this was published in March 2019 and coronavirus outbreak was announced in December 2019, why didn't anyone do anything during this whole time? The paper is titled Bat Coronavirus in China, and it was published by 4 researchers. This paper came from Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is located in Wuhan, the place where the outbreak began. The paper was received on the 29th of January 2019. Just to be clear, this is a review paper, and review papers take a while to write, which means the researchers have been working on writing this paper since 2018. So it was received on the 29th of January 2019 and published in the journal on the 2nd of March 2019. So that is 10 months before the outbreak. In this paper, the researchers expressed their concern over a virus that will emerge from bats. As they stated, it is highly likely that future SARS or MERS-like coronavirus outbreaks will originate from bats, and there is an increased probability that this will occur in China. Therefore, the investigation of bat coronaviruses becomes an urgent issue for the detection of early warning signs, which in turn minimizes the impact of such future outbreaks in China. Why didn't anyone do something about this? Someone knew about this a year in advance and warned us, but still these warnings didn't get enough attention. The researchers even published the paper in an open access journal, which means anyone can read the article. They even had it under Creative Commons license, which means anyone can copy-paste it and republish it anywhere with a proper attribution. So was this a wild guess, or was there really a cover-up? Is it true that the Chinese government censored information about the virus until it was too late? This can't be a wild guess because the researchers used genetic data to build the profile of the potential emerging virus. They also compared the new data with previous outbreaks that happened with similar viruses before, such as SARS in 2003 and MERS in 2012. If the researchers knew about this, shouldn't they have made more efforts to alert the world?
Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge, a new era, freer from the threat of terror, stronger in the pursuit of justice, and more secure in the quest for peace. An era in which the nations of the world, East and West, North and South, can prosper and live in harmony. 100 generations have searched for this elusive path to peace, while 1,000 wars raged across the span of human endeavor. And today that new world is struggling to be born. A world quite different from the one we've known. A world where the rule of law supplants the rule of the jungle. A world in which nations recognize the shared responsibility for freedom and justice. A world where the strong respect the rights of the weak.
Eventually, what we'll have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control. Sadly, you don't want to completely block off the ability for those, people to go there and come back and move around.
The Financial Services for the Poor team at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been partnering with the UPU for 2 years now on the Financial Inclusion Technical Assistance Facility. And one of the reasons why we're so excited to partner with the UPU is that in our vision of a world where everyone has access to safe, affordable financial services, the postal network that exists has the biggest footprint in the world into places where many financial institutions and others who might provide types of financial services don't have a presence. And so we see an incredible role for the postal networks in many countries to play in helping us to achieve our goals of inclusive financial access.
Thank you for watching Bear Ministries.